Alright, guys, so we got some stuff to talk about, don't we? So, we've got some questions answered, but as always with Steven Universe, one question is answered, and about 20 or 30, 40, 50, 100 more show up in its place. So, today's episode was called When It Rains, and this is more about more Steven hanging out with Peridot, who's still trapped in the bathroom. And this, more or less, we finally get some info on what the cluster is and more about the gem fusion shards themselves. So, basically, what this is, what we find out, firstly, actually I want to talk about some scenes real quick that it just made me go, oh, that's cool. That's some great images. When Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst are going to go out to do some investigating about the cluster, but yet, of course, since Peridot won't tell them anything because she still doesn't trust them, before they leave, Garnet's like, wait, Steven, there's something I have to tell you. What? I love you. And she does the heart over her chest, and I'm like, oh, that's adorable. Then there's another great scene where Peridot is, after Steven explains what rain is to Peridot, which I would imagine they've probably never seen on, in a world with artificial life on it, so, yeah. So, I like that. Also, I just couldn't help but think when Steven's explaining rain to Peridot, I couldn't help but think, Steven, the science guy. Steven, the science guy. That's in your head now. You're welcome. I am not sorry. I am not sorry at all. Anyway. But no, I do love the scene where Steven, is running out in the rain and wants to coax Peridot into going out in the rain with him. And Peridot has, this tentative, very look on her face, and she's just nervous, and she holds her hand out in the rain and just stands there, just kind of accepting it, and she's just like, cool. And I love that moment. I love that moment where she's finally realizing some stuff about Earth, and I really like that. Also, on a joking side, I can't wait for when someone does a fan comic, a web comic of Peridot walking out in the rain and it suddenly burns her skin, Invader Zim style. I can't be the only one who thought of that. Like, if Peridot walks out in the rain and then, it suddenly, she suddenly starts burning. Anyway. So, Peridot finally confers with Steven about the cluster, but first off, she says that, look, I have to go to the Prime Kindergarten. I was like, wait a minute, Prime Kindergarten? So that basically tells me that there's more than one kindergarten on Earth. And it would make sense, too. I mean, the gems probably were growing an army. They didn't want to put their eggs in one basket, so I would imagine they probably put several on Earth. So the more I thought of it, I was like, oh, that would make sense. Rather than just have one kindergarten, there'd probably be others out there to use. If they ever lost one, there'd probably be another one. But yeah, that's the Prime Kindergarten. So I can only imagine that there's hundreds of kindergartens all over the planet. But anyway, so Peridot finally explains to Steven what the gem shards are and what the other goal, the alternative goal for what the Homeworld wanted to do to Earth. Apparently, after, the war with Rose, they decided to use this planet as a science outpost. They originally, since their plans for the kindergarten and everything were shut down by Rose and the Gem Rebellion. So basically what they wanted to do was turn it like Earth into one giant science project, and this is where they could conduct more of their science, their experiments. And one of those was the artificial fusion. Now, again, I'm really interested to know why they're so obsessed with fusion, even though Jasper said that fusion is pretty much looked down on Homeworld. So why are the Homeworld gems again so eager to learn about artificial fusion and use that to their advantage? Again, there's thousands of different theories, like, do they need fusion to survive? Do they need it to get stronger? Have they become weaker? I mean, look at Peridot. She needed those upgrades to help her. She needed those upgrades to help her move. She can't fight. She clearly can't fight on her own. She's pretty much, like I said in the last review, kind of weak and pathetic without those, limb enhancers. Now, on the other hand, you've clearly got, Lapis, but she's an older gem. But then you have Jasper, who's this warrior class. but we don't know if she's enhanced as well. For all we know, maybe she took like some kind of supplement to upgrade herself. It's really hard to tell, honestly. So maybe that's it, that maybe there's some kind of, like, maybe there are gems out there who just need fusion. And, I don't know, it just, as Bruce Wayne said in Batman, in Batman Forever, it just raises too many questions. So, we have that going for us. And yes, the cluster is in fact a giant gem fusion under the Earth. Like, they apparently they created this giant gem fusion creature in the center of the Earth to grow, and more or less it's using the Earth like some kind of cocoon. And when it hatches, it's going to blow the Earth up from the inside out and be twice the size of Earth, or even bigger according to Peridot. So basically, they have they're growing Unicron. They're growing Unicron from Transformers Prime. The Transformers Prime version of Unicron. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So, yeah, it is, and apparently it's getting close to hatching. It's getting very close to hatching, and will hatch because now that these gem fusions are coming out, and I'm kind of imagining that these other gem fusions may be coming from not just this kindergarten, but the other kindergartens, if there are still active ones out there. But I digress. So yeah, now now we have our big endgame here apparently of the of the cluster on its way to hatching, and yeah, when it hatches, yeah, it's going to blow up. It's going to just destroy the Earth, and then we don't know what Homeworld's true exact intentions for creating the cluster. We don't know exactly why they want. They did say that they wanted to use Earth as a weapon. They wanted to create something to make Earth as a weapon, and yeah, nothing screams weapon like giant planet-sized, mutation abomination creature. So, you've clearly created the perfect weapon. And the even bigger question is, who are you going to use this on? Who were you so scared of to build a giant Leviathan out of the dead of your soldiers and blow up a planet in the process to do so? And here's another question. If they were allowed to make do science experiments on Earth after, and keep in mind, Peridot said after the war. So that leaves me wondering, did Rose know about this? Did Rose know that they were conducting experiments? Was there like some kind of ceasefire, and Rose allowed them to conduct experiments? However, she clearly didn't know what happened, because remember, Rose kept secrets even from Pearl, Garnet, and Amethyst. So maybe this was one of the secrets, and she did love Earth, and she did say to Steven, take care of them. Maybe this was what she was referencing to, because she made a huge fuck up. Again, keep in mind, this is just a theory I have, that maybe Rose did know what was going on, but couldn't, maybe there was some kind of like treaty or agreement that kept her from telling the other gems, or she just didn't it was just down to her, Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst. So yeah, if she did want to try to fight back, it would only just be the four of them, and yeah, she even if she did want to fight back, she didn't have the resources or the army to fight as she did in the first war. That's the theory I'm going on, is that maybe that's one of the secrets she couldn't tell the other gems, or Greg or Steven for that matter, that maybe she did know. I know, keep in mind, it's just a theory, but like I said, Peridot did say that these things were created after these experiments began after the war. And I just thought to myself, well, if they did, Rose would, I doubt Rose would be okay with something like this. So, yeah, maybe they did it in secret, but then again, this is something, creating something like this in secret is really hard to do. So, maybe they, bartered with Rose. Just, again, it just raises so many questions. So, all in all, we know our big, endgame villain for the season, or, throughout Season 3. But anyway, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of this episode? What did you guys think of the revelation of the cluster? And now it looks like, Peridot and the gems are going to be, hanging out more, so that's going to be cool. So, really interested to see what you guys come up, have to say about this one. Because, wow, I just, this was really good. It was just a nice little good episode, and, again, it's nice to see Peridot getting her little redemption arc. Hopefully it will continue on. But yeah, you guys tell me, what did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.